where do we even start?
We're Alex and Megan Norkus from Jacksonville Beach, Florida.
And we're making a massive life change soon.
We decided to sell everything and travel full-time before we have kids.
And this is the first time that we're telling the full story of how all this even started.
To keep it simple, we've divided our story into 3 chapters. Chapter 1, it was all a dream.
I think the first thing I really want to convey is that this is not a brand new idea. We actually thought about it for the first time in Belgium when we were just engaged. We weren't even married. We were just so excited because we went to so many different places. We were like, what if we did this for an extended amount of time?
That actually started a fight between the two of us. I was like, babe, let's just not even have a wedding. Let's spend all the money that we have on traveling the world. There were tears.
Because I really want to travel, that sounded amazing. But then choosing between spending money on travel or a wedding, those are just 2 things that were so important to me that were how am I supposed to decide between the 2?
The idea of traveling was brand new. The idea of having a wedding, you had been dreaming about your entire life.
That's true.
So in all fairness, at the time, I was frustrated with your decision.
I wasn't gonna let it go that easy.
She did not let it go very easily at all.
But I do remember that's when we were leaving Europe. We were leaving to fly from Belgium to New York. And we started actually crunching bills. We're like, how much would it actually cost to travel? Could we do both?
And at this time, Megan was working as a nurse for the school board.
We're gonna get married in February. Then we actually still have a couple months to save up, and then we could take an extended honeymoon all summer until I have to go back to work when the school year starts in August. So we were like, well, let's see how much it would cost.
We were so excited. I'm the bills guy. I ran all the numbers. I had everything ready to go. Had an entire budget on a piece of paper from the hotel. It was just one of those little hotel notepads. I remember taking that and putting it into an Excel spreadsheet and realizing that this was actually a reality. We could actually travel the world after we got married, do this extended honeymoon, 3 or 4 months.
We didn't even do normal people wedding registry stuff like cups and pillows and bedding and normal wedding registry items. We literally did all travel gear. We sent a little card with our wedding invitation. I literally said backpacking honeymoon for our wedding registry. Log on to this website. So we got backpacks, packing cubes, a GoPro, all the stuff we needed to travel. We were so excited. We just knew after we got married in February, we were definitely gonna be traveling in May. We were just we don't wanna fill our house with stuff that we're never gonna use. We would much rather have stuff that we need to travel the world.
Clearly. So we had everything we needed to travel the world. We told all of our friends and family members we were doing this. They bought us stuff to travel with. But there was a slight problem. What we spent on the wedding was 4 times what we had originally budgeted for. And look, it was a great day.
Worth it.
We had no idea how much a wedding was gonna cost when we planned it. So we went into a ton of debt because of our wedding. We went into a ton of debt because my business had a really hard season. We had a lot of family stuff going on. We had so many things, one thing after another. Fast forward to the summer when we were supposed to actually start traveling full time.
Chapter 2, everything changed.
We were in $150,000 in debt. Our family had so much crisis going on, so many personal things going on, so much pain, so much heartache.
And I was kind of feeling I feel like we're not really gonna be able to travel, but I'm like, maybe we can still make it happen. And I finally remember you being we're not traveling, right?
So we never went on a honeymoon. And now hindsight's 2020, it all makes sense now. But at the time, we were really upset about this. We were really frustrated. We felt embarrassed. We felt confused. Our first year of marriage was one of the hardest years of my life.
For sure.
But after that, it just kind of got pushed to the side. All of our stuff we had for traveling, all of the gear got put in a box, and it had been a couple of years. And about 2.5 years later, we got to the point where we had no choice but to file for bankruptcy. We were so deep in debt, we couldn't even make the payments anymore. My business had taken a really massive hit. Nobody ever taught me how to manage my money. I had no financial literacy. My self-esteem was low, and honestly, I feel like it took us out of our creative state and put us into a place of survival.
Yeah.
And when you're in a state of survival, it's really hard to be creative because you're simply surviving. We completely forgot about the dream that God placed in our hearts to travel. I feel like because we have God at the center of our relationship, that during that season, instead of us pulling apart from each other, we just collectively decided with our attitudes, with our mindset, and just the way that we were gonna go through this hard season, that we were gonna do this together. So even coming out of the bankruptcy at this point, we still had $50,000 in debt. And we knew traveling just wasn't realistic. So what we did was we actually wrote down the amount of debt that we had and we came up with a plan. We cut down on expenses and we increased our income. And if we were gonna pay off this debt and if we were gonna have financial freedom, we had to create multiple streams of income. Yeah. We started looking at building online businesses alongside my real estate business and a few other investments that we made. And now we can say 2.5 years later, we are 100% debt-free.
Yay, did it. Then the pandemic happened, and obviously travel was not even in our mind at all at this point. It seemed like we were probably just gonna be in this house forever. And we kind of got into watching like YouTube videos. There was a video or a vlog. We didn't even really know what vlogging was before that. A video of Kara and Nate came up and they went and visited a treehouse.
If you don't know who Kara and Nate are, look them up on YouTube right now.
Classic, legendary. So we saw them and they were a couple and we actually kind of like just saw a little bit of ourselves in them. Just they're a similar age, similar dynamic, things like that. So we're like, that was a really cool video. Those people are pretty cool. The next video that came on of Kara and Nate was their 100th country documentary and it went all the way through their journey. I feel like that was literally the Lord. Like literally, I feel like that was God just showing us their journey because they showed like where they started out. They just had, you know, some camera they picked up, had no experience, and now they've been to 100 countries. And I literally remember that night going, babe, we never freaking traveled.
Chapter 3, it came back to life.
Then this passion of travel started like reawakening in us and we were like, we need to just pause and start praying about this and thinking about this. And then we kind of just started watching vloggers more. I mean, like, wait, this is like an actual thing. So then we started getting really excited about just documenting our travels and we actually had an upcoming trip to Arkansas. So we're like, that's such a cool trip. We've never been to Arkansas before. We could make a vlog about that. We just binge watch all these YouTube videos on the best vlog setup, purchase everything. Literally probably everything came in the mail like days before we left for Arkansas.
We got the camera 2 days before we left.
And then we were like, all right, cool, we're going on the first trip, let's vlog. We had no idea what we were getting ourselves into. And it was like ignorance on fire. We were like, all right, get a camera, turn it on, press record. We're making a vlog, let's go. What do we call ourselves? Norcas Nomads.
Recently after that, Megan had an international convention for her business. And the founder of the company ends up mentioning that they're going to Africa in 4 or 5 months. And I'll never forget how sold she was the minute she heard about it. She's like, babe, we're going to Africa.
It's just something I always wanted to do.
The organization that we went with is called Hearts and Hands for Humanity. They actually drill wells over in Africa in villages near schools and areas of these villages so that the students can go to school, get an education, and be motivated to go to school because they can bring water back to their families. So we had prayed about it for a few weeks before we decided, but then we knew that we had to do this. We knew that this trip was either gonna make or break it all. Mm-hmm. We told ourselves we would go on this trip, and after getting back from this trip, we would feel whether we had confirmation, whether we were gonna continue to travel full time, or whether we were just gonna slow down, start to have a family, and get back into our normal routine. Fast forward a few months later, we go to Africa, and our lives were changed forever.
We met amazing people. We loved just doing like humanitarian work and serving the community, learning about other cultures. We climbed a portion of Kilimanjaro, so that was like just really adventurous. We're like, oh, we want to go to the top now. Like we have all these other like dreams and goals that are like coming alive. We hiked to the most beautiful waterfall our last day there, and we're like, oh my gosh, 2 weeks was not enough. So we're like, we could literally come back for 30 days, serve at an orphanage. Like I would definitely be down to do that. We were super like excited and motivated and like ignited by that trip. So as soon as we came home, we're like, we need to set a date. If we're gonna travel and we really see ourselves traveling full time before we have kids, we're only getting older. So we need to like at least say within the next 6 months, year, like put some kind of timeline on it. And so that's what we started doing. We started making more decisions. It used to feel like some distant vision when we talked about it, and we could see our family members kind of being like, cool. Let us know how that goes. It just seemed like something like we would probably never do. But now we've been hanging out with friends and family, and they're like, I'm just so excited for you guys. Like, when are you leaving? Man, we're gonna miss you. Like, what are you guys gonna be doing? So much more invested.
That leads us to this point in our story. We're in the process of selling 90% of the stuff that we own. Within the next few weeks, we'll be leaving our house. We're getting rid of our couch, most of our furniture. We just got rid of 80% of the clothes in our closet, and we drew the line in the sand, and we decided there's no going back now. We're going through a stage right now where we're really having to come to terms with the fact that our identity, a lot of who we are as a person, is really wrapped up in the things that we have, wrapped up in the routine that we have. And it's really been quite challenging to have to completely rewire our brain and look at life through a different lens. So we're actually starting to detach ourselves from the items and the materialistic things that we identify with. We didn't really even realize that we identified with these things. Our house, our stuff, we're gonna be selling our car, everything. What we own will essentially be able to be in a suitcase. I'm no longer gonna be able to allow my environment to dictate my mindset, because soon I'm gonna have no real defined workspace. I don't have an office anymore.
It's just so crazy because I'm used to having like visual representations of like my tasks or my goals, like what I'm shooting for. And now I'm literally just gonna have like nothing to specifically keep me on task.
We take our sleep very seriously. And what's probably gonna be the most challenging is not being able to sleep in our own
Bed?
Are you sure you want to do this?
Like and subscribe to this channel. Do it, and do it now.
You know what I told me to go? So lame that I know that.
All right. Okay.
So I'm just kind of sharing all. Okay, I'm just putting my heart out there.
Okay, let's go. I'm ready.
All right, cool. Boom.
Wait, I want water. One more.
Yeah, give me some water. Oh. And while you're at it, let me get a sandwich too. She's not making me a sandwich. It's hot in here. You need to turn the air down. And by you need to, I mean, will you please turn the air on?